Now, Break a Leg was, well, I kind of characterize Happy Little Guillotine and you folks as almost like a drama troupe in the way that you work together. Justin and Dashiell, Daniela and Dustin, Drew, and Alexis. I mean, you worked together on Break a Leg. Was that the first time you all worked together?
No, actually, we did
some of you go back further than others. And you had long relationships with some of these folks.
Sure, yeah. I've known Dustin and Dashiell since high school. So actually, the first play I ever directed was my senior year in high school. It was a David Ives play, and Dashiell and Dustin actually acted in it. Dashiell's not so much an actor, but at the time he was dabbling. So I know them from high school, and then Daniela and Justin I met in college, and like my first one-act play that I wrote, Daniela and I and Dustin were in, and so we started this little group of people, and then we shot a movie called Life Noir, and Vlad didn't write this with me; it was just me, and I cast. That's where I met Alexis. She auditioned for it, and Drew, who auditioned for it, and that was in like 2004, I think. So we worked on that movie for 4 or 5 months. We're still not done. But yeah, so after that it became like, well, these people put in so many hours, and I think they're crazy talented, and we put them into Break a Leg, but then Break a Leg started doing well, and it's like we had this opportunity with Leap Year, and I mean, why would I not work with the people that I love and know for many years and reward them for all this amazing work they've put in? And honestly, frankly, we've had auditions dozens of times, and they're just much better than many people. They really know our writing at this point too, so it's so easy to direct them because they know what we're writing, they know what the joke is. So
well, and on Break a Leg, everybody's coming to double up and have double duty. Daniela was the wardrobe and the stylist, and I mean everybody did more than one thing. They weren't just an actor.
Yeah, I think only like maybe Drew and Alexis. I think there's like a few others who are maybe just actors, but that doesn't mean that they didn't carry things and bring things to set and bring I mean, yeah, it was a team effort. We had a crew of 5 people, so we kind of needed everyone.
Now, you talked before that Neil Simon was one of your influences.
Yeah, I'm a huge. I was looking for a book that I have of his. I have a bunch of his stuff, but yeah, I love Neil Simon. I started reading him in college. I think David Ives was first. So I directed the play, and that's how I was like, oh, I love the sound of his words. And my drama teacher gave me a book on him, and then I somehow got to Neil Simon, and I just loved everything he wrote. I love the banter and it's the Jewish kind of wit and banter. So I consumed like dozens of his plays, and that kind of, I think, really affected my writing in the beginning.
Anyone else?
Woody Allen, I like.
Woody Allen. I mean, that's kind of where I was going, hoping you would say it, because I see a lot of his humor in your work.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because we get that a lot, and people are always like, "You're like Woody Allen," and I think it's because I'm also in the things that we make. I think honestly, it's like the Jewish humor is very. I mean, Mel Brooks, Neil Simon, Woody Allen. They're all cut from the same cloth, So, I think yeah, I'm inspired by all those guys. I was just reading a huge interview by Mel Brooks from like the '70s, and I was just fascinated. I love those guys.
Oh, he's had a book out, or he had the show out, and he was doing a lot of talk shows earlier this year. He's an incredible guy.
Yeah, he's just so interesting. It's so
what
fun.
I thought was fascinating, he joined Twitter, he put out one tweet, and he had 25,000 followers all waiting for his next tweet, which I don't think has ever come.
No. He's on Jerry Seinfeld's web show, which I really like, The Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yes.
I highly recommend that show. I love it, and him and Carl Reiner have had lunch together for like the last 50 years or something, and he invites Jerry Seinfeld to come join him, and it's
he's a brilliant guy. He's made brilliant movies. I mean, the shame of it, I don't think you can make Blazing Saddles today, at least not the way he made it.
No, not so much. No.
So, Let's talk a little bit about after Break, what you guys did. You wrote Temp Life Season 4 for Wilson.
Yeah, I did a lot of freelance writing and was in a depression about Break a Leg's failure. I mean, it wasn't a failure, but it felt at the time a little bit like it was.
Why?
Because it was done and it was like, all right, nothing happened. We had all these great meetings. I mean, we were, you know, in NBC and all these just great, and it's like no one knew what to do with us. They were just like, oh, this is great, bye. So
Yeah, I
go
think we
ahead.
were a little naive. Yeah, we sat in an office at NBC, and it was the first time we'd ever met with anybody at a network, and we were like, "Oh my God, like this is it. We're going on TV tomorrow." And then we had the meeting, and it went well, and then nothing happened. And then and we realized that there's something else we need to do, and we weren't quite sure what at that point.
Well, Break a Leg's considered, though, to be one of the greatest web shows of all time. I mean, is there any satisfaction in that for you guys?
Oh, I think in retrospect, I think
Yeah.
we're incredibly proud of it. I think immediately after, I was reading Steve Martin's biography, and he talks about how he got on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time, and when he got on, he was like, after he was off, he did his act and whatever, and he said, "This is it. I'm going to be famous now. I'm going to get all this stuff," and like nothing happened. There were no calls, and that's what it felt like. It was like, we're done. We're free. This is it, and it was just like, no one. What do we do now? So we were a little bit just like unsure of what to do, and so I did a lot of freelancing. I wrote Temp Life. I wrote for a show called The Circuit. It was on a network called Mojo HD. It was an older HD network that went out of business shortly after. But it was a show like Tosh 2.0 before Tosh 2.0 existed, and you can actually see it on Hulu. But I was the head writer on that, which was a cool job. I wrote for Gizmodo for a while. I did a bunch of feature articles for them, or a couple of feature articles, and then just the regular articles. So I just kind of freelanced around, tried to get paid.
All right, well, Break a Leg made a name for you guys. I mean, you went from unknowns to being known in that industry. Wilson told us that he actually sought you out to work with you.
Yeah. So it was a slow churn, right? So it was done, and then it was quiet, and then so we met Wilson a little later. I think it was like a few months after we were done, and then that eventually went into writing Temp Life, and then I always say it's an investment in relationships. Break a Leg introduced us to the world, and we met a bunch of people. It just took a while before those people came to us for work and for things like that. I started a blog soon after I realized that like nothing was happening. I was like, I'm just gonna blog and be honest. I realized Lana and I remember having a conversation that our online personalities were always so nice and politically correct. Like we would write our blog and we were just like our parents taught us to be very nice and don't speak out of turn and be
Good
polite.
Jewish boys.
Exactly. And I just realized that like we had no opinions on anything ever. Like we just were like, yes, we are just gentle, nice guys. And so I wanted to write a blog that, on the contrary, we were quite opinionated, just quietly where no one can hear us. So I decided that, we needed to get that more out there. And that really started to happen. Things started happening after that. I started getting, I wrote a blog that the web community got all upset and agreed with me about, which was that the web TV as we know it is dead. And I was talking about at the time that model was dead. It wasn't working, and we needed to think of something else because no one was making money. It was just we were all going in circles making really bad content, and it was just not. But I got a lot of like people just talking to me and yelling at me and agreeing with me, and that's how we started working with Blip TV. They just kind of remembered we existed and reached out to us, and that led to other things.